Alright, hello and welcome. So, today, we're going to talk about the Veldt. And honestly, more so than the Veldt, we're kind of going to talk about all single-shot rifles in Warframe that are not considered sniper rifles. All of these weapons, the Grinlock, the Latron series, the Veldt, etc., all have similar problems to this. And they all just kinda suck. So this weapon, I put 4 Forma into it, hoping that at some point it would get better. And it really doesn't. So this is a 4 Forma build, and we're going to show it against some level 50s. This weapon boasts a low magazine size, mediocre damage, bad crit stats for how much you need to shoot enemies with your mediocre damage, because you're just coin flipping on whether or not they die most of the time, which means even fodder enemies can survive your shit if they get lucky. Bad reload times, and just no advantages. There's no inherent punch through. The Veldt, the Latron series, the Grinlock, they're all the fucking same. They're all the same thing pretty much, and they all suck, with the one difference being that the Grinlock has an augment. That's the only real difference, and that doesn't help it very much. So with this, hopefully this test can show you just like how inconsistent this can be, and also just like the amount of shots that were needed to take out just those enemies. And like, that was a butcher. That's a level 50 butcher that survived this 4 Forma weapon. Because it's like the inconsistency is so much, and that much of my magazine being used on just like one guy, like even if it's a level 50 bombard, it's still, and just like enemies survive this way more than they should be able to for how many just blatant disadvantages this weapon has. Like, it is so much. Even Hunter Munitions is not bringing this weapon up to the point where it's, like, realistically usable, because you're just not getting anything fucking done when you shoot it at enemies. Like, you can't guarantee, like, oh, I'm gonna, like, pop 2 shots into this bombard and they're gonna be done. You can't, there's nothing really going for you. And to, like, showcase this is an MR8 weapon. This is an MR8, and it takes a Forma to build. And it has 4 Forma invested into it. Let's compare that, test-wise, with a Vectis with no Forma, which is available at MR2. Not even a max Serration in this thing. This weapon has way more consistency. You can rest assured that any reasonable leveled enemy is going to fucking explode if you shoot them with this. And this has no Forma. If you were to put Forma into this Vectis, you could put HM on it, which is way better on this than it is on the Veldt because of the incredible damage and headshot multipliers, etc., etc., etc. And you could max out your Serration, giving it way more damage than is needed for anything at level 50. And of course, like these are status elementals. These are like low power. You could just turn these into their like another 60% elemental damage just right there. There's so much there, and the Vectis has inherent punch through, so it can better deal with crowds. And, in addition to that, all snipers benefit from sniper combo to various degrees. So your damage is going to build up and you're going to kill whatever you're shooting at eventually anyway. Single shot rifles like the Veldt, just, they suck. Because you can't guarantee you're getting your like the job done. And against these heavies, on this no Forma weapon, sure, sometimes they're not going to die if I'm at low, like combo counter on my sniper, but if I shoot this weapon at a fodder enemy, they're gonna fucking die. I know that they're gonna be dead, and if I shoot 2 of them in a row, they're gonna die. And once I get to a good shot combo, the heavies are gonna die in one shot. The assurance of knowing that shit is gonna die, even if you don't get a crit like this idiot, is really, really valuable. Not to mention that, like, the Veldt is just a bad tool. It's bad against nullifiers. It's like there's no specific enemy where the matchup is good. Against the Nox, you'd rather have a sniper rifle because getting a headshot on them is way more valuable if you have scope bonuses and stuff. Like, there's so many other things you could be doing. Like for group clear, there's melee weapons. For single target weapons, like if you're just gonna be, if you want single shot and you don't want to zoom in, get a fucking shotgun and get in there. And like there's, and machine guns have the huge advantage of being inherently good against crowds because they're machine guns. And in addition to that, obliterate nullifiers. There is just no reason to use the Veldt or any of its cousins for really anything other than you like it, which is fine, but fuck, man, it makes it really hard to talk positively about any of them. And I was really trying there for like a good 2 hours. I was like, I guess the Veldt is good enough for why would you use, because it does technically work, but I think I have to stop, like, giving things a why would you use that technically work, because there are so many things that get the job done well. And this is like a weird, ranty video. Basically, fuck the Veldt. Get its MR, and then trash this thing where it belongs. I will see you guys tomorrow. I just needed to get this out.